Hiya, my name's Savannah Marshall and you're watching Sport and Icons.
Okay, so back doing what we do best, talking about the boxing news. I'm a little bit bored of these interviews, I ain't gonna lie, but go check them out anyway. Thank you very much to those of you who have. In particular, go watch the Adam Smith and Savannah Marshall interviews as it relates to this particular video. Savannah Marshall versus Claressa Shields, of course, is the subject after Savannah Marshall successfully, brutally knocked out Hermans this past weekend at the Utility Arena. Now, immediately after that fight, of course, Claressa Shields, she gives her opinion and how she says, and again, you have to look at it from her point of view, maybe she's correct, which is she is a two-time Olympic gold medalist. She has been undisputed world champion, multiple weight divisions, all that kind of thing. She's given up her home country, her home advantage, and is willing to come to the United Kingdom, in particular England, to take on Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall should give up something too. Her area, Newcastle. And she believes that Savannah Marshall should fight her at maybe the O2 Arena or Wembley. Now, I think, firstly, I think Claressa Shields is a little bit confused between the O2 Arena and Wembley. Now, I'm pretty sure he's not talking about Wembley Arena, because that would just be absolute madness. But Wembley Stadium is 90,000 capacity. O2 Arena, 20,000 capacity. So there's a huge gulf in difference between the two of them. And while, yes, it's a big fight, UK-wide, of course, a lot of people will be very interested in this fight. Is it the biggest female fight in history currently? Maybe yes, maybe no. Okay, personally, I think yes, but again, I'm biased because obviously with her Savannah Marshall, I'm a massive fan of hers, chatted with her quite a few times, she's a lovely girl. Now, one thing that Claressa Shields is saying here is that the fight shouldn't be taking place in Newcastle. It should take place down south. Now, I understand, and I hear it all the time coming from America, and it's not a jibe, by the way. They see England or the United Kingdom as very, very small, because obviously they live in a massive, massive country. Huge. To get from one side to the other, you're taking aeroplanes, and it's taking hours upon hours to get there. They look at England and think, well, it's tiny. It's just a few minutes down the motorway, and you're there. Yeah, it is. But when it comes to Savannah Marshall's fan base, it's from the Northeast. Of course, people outside the Northeast love her and like her and that, of course, as well. But those who are willing to put their hand in their pocket and buy tickets to go watch her fight are from the Northeast, for the most part. Of course, there's always exceptions. But that's something that Claressa Shields needs to understand. Now, she could think, well, maybe people from Hartlepool, which is where Savannah Marshall's from Newcastle, from Sunderland, from Durham, from the Northeast, will just travel down to the O2 Arena, will travel down to Wembley Stadium. Don't work that way. They will if it's football, but they don't when it comes to boxing. They don't. Trust me, okay? I'm around enough of the promoters and that up here and the managers and helping put on fight nights up here in the Northeast. Of course, I'm filming some of the fights and that as well. And believe me, it's difficult just to get people from Newcastle to go to Sunderland to watch a Newcastle fighter fight. And vice versa, get them from Sunderland to go to Newcastle to watch somebody from Sunderland to watch them fight. It's difficult enough. Try convincing them to go from the Northeast down to London 4.5 hours if there's no traffic. It ain't going to happen. It just isn't going to happen. Unless it's football, as I said. Yes, they're always willing to do that. But with boxing, they're not. As much as people love Savannah and that up here, they're not going to do that. And that's unfortunate to say. It really is. So when Savannah Marshall is going to be fighting Claressa Shields, it has to be in the Northeast. It doesn't have to be St James's Park. It doesn't have to be Utility Arena. It doesn't have to be Newcastle. It could be Hartlepool. It could be in Sunderland, whatever, okay? People may reluctantly go, well, I don't really want to go from Newcastle down to Hartlepool. And believe me, 45 minutes don't sound much, but people, that's a bit of an effort for some people. Trust me, okay? I've been around these ticket sales, like I'm trying to convince people to buy tickets for the shows. But the point is, if Claressa Shields wants to make as much money as she possibly can, so of course she will do, because again, Claressa Shields, she's been talking about it for a long time, how women should have the equal rights, and rightfully so, and that of course, women should get paid the same as what men do. Again, she's absolutely correct, but at the same time, where she's wrong is that you get paid what you generate. Okay, now, for example, should she get paid the same as, say, Tyson Fury, for example? Well, yeah, she should, if she generates the same interest in her fight as what Tyson Fury would. If she can sell the exact same amount of tickets as Tyson Fury and do the exact same pay-per-views as Tyson Fury, then yeah, she should get exactly the same money as what Tyson Fury does, of course. But if you can't, then obviously you don't get paid as much. It's not difficult to understand. And that's the point of this video. So when she says that she doesn't want to have to fight in Newcastle, it should be the O2 Arena or Wembley. Firstly, Wembley ain't happening. Cannot happen. I love Savannah Marshall. I dearly, dearly do. And I will support her. And listen, I will travel around the country to watch her fight personally. But there's not many of me around that are willing to do that. Doesn't matter if she's fighting Claressa Shields or not. It's not going to happen. Wembley Stadium, 90,000. Unless your name is Anthony Joshua, you ain't filling Wembley Stadium. Outside of Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury versus anybody else outside of Dillian Whyte or Anthony Joshua couldn't sell out Wembley Stadium. Nor could Dillian Whyte. But, of course, you put Dillian and Tyson together, of course. Okay? But that's the point. Wembley Stadium is a no-no. You're going to have to put on a hell of an undercard. And it's an undercard that I don't think Sky Sports and Boxer have the stable for just yet. They're getting there. They are getting there. But again, they're only 9 months into this. But they're certainly getting there, and they're making huge, huge moves. Far better than I think a lot of people predicted. Okay, but Wembley Stadium, that's unrealistic. O2 Arena, yeah, that's realistic. But you're talking 20,000 capacity. So if Claressa wants to get paid a lot of money, obviously, the more tickets you sell, the more money you're going to get. Of course, there's going to be a budget anyway, and of course, there's going to be sponsorships and all those extra kind of perks. But gate receipts is where it's going to have to be generating a lot of money for her to make as much money as she possibly can. Could they put it on pay-per-view? That's a whole nother discussion, okay? But when it comes to the gate, there's a huge difference between the gate for a 20,000 at the O2 Arena, which it may actually struggle to sell down there. Because as I said, people from the Northeast don't travel, unless it's football, they just don't travel. So the difference between the O2 Arena, 20,000, to potentially 65, 70,000 St James's Park. But again, that's a risk in itself. St James's Park is going to have to be a hell of an undercard. And it's going to have to be a lot of Northeast fighters on there. Or at least a few, and very, very selective as well. And there are some fighters that they already have that could do very, very well ticket-wise. And there are some fighters outside of the boxer contract deal, shall we say, that could sell a lot of tickets. Ideally, they'd work with Probellum, okay? But in an ideal world, will that happen? I don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't know if Probellum and Sky or Probellum and Boxer are willing to work together. I don't know the answer to that one, okay? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. If they are, great. But if they're not, then there are a couple of fighters who are currently free agents who will shift a lot of tickets. A lot of tickets. Ben Shalom, come see me. Now, that's the point. If Savannah Marshall and Claressa Shields want to make as much money as they can, it has to be in the Northeast. Claressa Shields, I think she has this impression that this fight is going to be the same whether it's in Newcastle or in London, or in Manchester, or in Birmingham, or in Leicester, or in Skegness, wherever it may be. No, it's not. It's only big in the Northeast. Down south, people are interested in it, but I don't think they're that interested to put their hand in their pocket unless it's going to be a phenomenal undercard. But to get a phenomenal undercard for people down south, I don't think that a Chris Eubank Jr., for example, is willing to fight on that undercard. I don't think Kell Brook or Amir Khan is willing to fight on that undercard. They're not undercard fighters. They're main eventers. Unless, of course, you're going to shift down Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields to not be main event. That ain't going to happen. Of course it's not going to happen. So the only place for it to happen is the Northeast. Now, it could maybe St James's Park might be a bit of a risk. But, of course, if they want a discount, again, Ben Shalom, come see me. And maybe they can get it on at the Falcons rugby ground at Kingston Park in Newcastle. That's around, including the pitch, probably about 25,000-ish. I think they'll do that quite comfortably, to be honest with you. But again, I think it'll still need a couple of good fighters on the undercard, a couple of good fighters as in that people from the surrounding area of the Northeast are willing to go to. If not, maybe they can put it on in Hartlepool, the football ground there. Maybe they can put it on to the Stadium of Light, which of course is a little bit smaller than St James's Park. Not much smaller, if we're being honest. But again, are people going to go down to St James's Park if you're from Sunderland? Are people going to go to the Stadium of Light if you're from Newcastle? Again, you've always got that football rivalry, even though it's boxing and it shouldn't happen. Unfortunately, it does. Maybe they could look at, I don't know, surrounding areas, okay? But it has to happen in the Northeast for these girls to make as much money as they possibly can. And they deserve to be paid well. You know, they're both putting their undefeated records on the line. This grudge match, they deserve to be paid well. And to get paid well, you're going to have to do well at the gate. And the only place that this fight is going to do well at the gate is Newcastle, or the Northeast in general. But I think Newcastle would be more realistic. St James's Park, as I said, 65, 70,000. It can be done. It can be done. And hopefully Boxer and Sky Sports will know the kind of fighters that they would have to put on this undercard. But if they don't, as I said, Ben, come give me a call. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it all. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.